What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here, thanks for stopping by. Today's video we're actually going to be talking all about relics, specifically the relics that are on my account right now. So relics have been in the game since late 2024 in December, so it was the big patch update, big content drop in December. Plarium always does this before the end of the year, before they close the office for the Christmas holidays. They do a huge content drop, and the relic system was that content in 2024. So it's just been over a year now. We're in February. So we're talking 13 months of relics in the game. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of go over my entire collection of relics, show you guys where and how I use certain relics on which champions. It also gives you kind of a baseline, kind of perhaps like an expectation ceiling on what you can expect, from my level of gameplay. So first of all, we're going to do some crafts here. I have a couple crafts, not too much, but we'll do a couple crafts here just for the cameras. And then, we'll talk a little bit more. So relic crafting, I have 3 mythical crafts here, so I'll craft that on camera. We have a couple legendary crafts as well, which we could also do. I'm going to craft all my other stuff, and I won't go over every single one. We'll just do some highlights and stuff like that. So I'm going to get that started. And then near the end of the video, we'll talk about all my relics and how I use them and which champions I use them and so forth. So I'm going to get started here. All right, not really too much to show for those last 20 pulls and stuff like that, mostly from the epics and the rares. Now, I'm going to jump into the legendary crafts here. Again, we only have a handful, so it's not really too much. So maybe we'll just do it on camera here. So we're going to do 100 of the Chimera mats. Another epic, not really much going on here. We got 100 of the clan mats, and we got legendary, and it's going to be an aspect of Suroth. At this point, aspect of Suroth is food for me. I've been, obviously any endgame player will tell you that aspect of Suroth is just one of those food legendaries at this point because it's from the standard group. You get plenty of them, and you don't need a ton of them, for example. So let's do the faction wars, 100 here, and we got legendary, and it's the collective. Now the collective. The best thing about the collective, actually, collective is part of the vote, the relic vote right now, and it's the last one, last in the voting. So we're probably not going to get the collective. But the collective, basically, the best thing about it is that its main stat is crit damage. That's about it. Can't really find an application for this. We had Plarium confirm that this doesn't work on Seer. So if you guys were thinking about using this on Seer, it does not work. So I would probably just use it as a stat stick, but even this is kind of a negative, so I have to be careful about which one you want to use it on. But yeah, at this point, it's probably just food as well. Let's move on here. I really like the Grim Forest relics, so I'm going to go with 3 of them and then only 1 of the Faction Wars. And then, yeah, Faction Wars, I mean, they got some good ones too, but let's see if we can get lucky here on the Grim Forest. Nope, Raven. Raven's very, very good. Great use for like support champions. So you can kind of cycle back to their key abilities more often. Let's jump into the Wings of Winter. So we got 2 of these guys. Let's go. Nope, not really a significant epic here or anything like that. Let's keep going. Maybe we'll get lucky on this last one. And nope. Golden Elixir, very good one, especially for PvE content, for example. All right, what do we got here? We got 1, 2, not quite enough for 1 more Lego, unfortunately. I don't like to mix the rarities, but we do have enough for 1 more rare. Let's bang that out here. Boom, 1 more rare, and it's a rare. All right, let's jump into the mythical crafts here. So we got, what do we got? We got 3 crafts. We got 3 crafts here. Guys, 3 crafts. Okay. So let's jump into Wings of Winter. 100 of these. Let's go. Let's see if we get lucky. 20% chance. Nope. Aspect of Suroth. Feels bad, man. So 20% chance at a mythical. Let's see if we can get it. Come on. Let's mix. I don't know. Let's mix the Grim Forest one. Grim Forest has some really nice ones. And we'll mix these 2 up. Let's see. We got 20% chance at a mythical. And boom, it's another aspect of Suroth. As I said, guys, aspect of Suroth, lots of them. All right, 50 from the clan mats and then 50 from the faction wars. Let's see if we can get lucky here. 20% chance, and no, we got nothing. There you go, guys. Another bunch of nothing from those mythical mats. Feels unlucky, man. Anyways, guys, let's check out my collection here, and then we'll go over what relics I use and what champions I use them on here. So in my collection, so I'm going to go to equipped, And let's sort it. Can we sort it by rank here? Let's see. Oh yes, you can click the hide groups button. So hide groups at the bottom, hide groups. So we're going to sort them out by their rank. So, and then I'll explain my choices here. So I did get super lucky and then get this relic. This is called the Chrysalid of Rebirth. Now this is an insane relic. It comes from the clan group, the clan category. So you get these from, for example, CVC. And I pulled this Chrysalid of Rebirth from Epic Materials. So it was only a 0.05% chance of getting this. So I got super lucky. Not 0.5% chance, 0.05% chance. It's a 1 in 1,000 chance of getting this. I believe that's the math. But anyways, this relic, you have a 100% chance of getting an extra turn when you revive allies. So, or themselves. So it's obviously best you place it on your strongest reviver or support champion, right? And then you get an extra turn right away. And it's also, going to be most advantageous if you can put it on a champion that can, first of all, revive your team or themselves, and then has a secondary skill that you can lead into that further presses your kind of advantage. So it could be like an offensive ability, like an ally attack where you can revive everyone and then ally attack and kill somebody, for example. Or in this case, Hilvi has the ally revive and then has the enemy freeze and strip as well. So it comes in really strong here for Hilvi. I chose Hilvi as the champion that I wanted to put this on because I'm actually really short on support champions for this account. And she actually was one of the best in terms of just overall package, like general use that I could use. So I did like Hilvi for this. And yeah, it's a level 18 relic as well. So it's one of the 2 level 18 relics I have on my account. I don't know if that's like low, high, or what, but I feel like level 18s are still extremely difficult to get, even for spenders, because spenders can buy the relic stone, the basalt stones. Obviously I can't buy any of those, and we don't get those, any other way other than obviously grinding Chimera or the events. So for example, Plarium have been putting basalts into like training events and some of the higher tier rewards for some of their events and tournaments lately. So that's definitely like accelerated some of the progression of some of these relics. But for me, I've only gotten 2. The other one I chose was the Cat's Gaze. This was an exclusive relic and also one of the first relics to be released. It's, obviously very insane for a legendary relic to have this. And at that time, I was just like, yeah, this relic's just insane. There's no reason not to go for this. And after a year, it's still insane. And for a legendary relic, it's one of the best, guys. So I chose to plus 18 one of these because obviously ignore defense is going to be very important. It's obviously very important throughout this entire game. And this is kind of the only relic I have with ignore defense. So it's an easy 18 for me. And I put it on my Titus because obviously Chimera damage and all that, but easily swap Outable for, a damage dealer for Arena, for example. You can kind of see here we got 2 more of these Cat's Gazes. I think we were offered 2. One was part of a Titan event, and then one was, I forget, mostly free, and then I crafted 1. So I got 3. Not necessarily a lot, but more than what the minimum would have been, I think. So I put them on my other damage dealers. These both get used kind of like in PvP and PvE a little bit. And yeah, just some extra ignore defense for these champions are very good. Let's move on. So the other item that I have here that I committed a bit of resources towards was the Wand of Submission. So I do have a couple 15 Wand of Submissions here that I use pretty regularly. They're for my arena champions. For example, I use them on my Marius. My Marius has a wand. I mean, it's not a big secret or anything that the wand is like the people's relic. It's pretty much overpowered for a legendary relic compared, relatively speaking, because all the legendary relics just are not even close to the Wand of Submission in terms of overall strength. You can maybe argue that the Cat's Gaze is better as a legendary relic, but they do kind of different things, right? The Cat's Gaze is more damage oriented and the Wand of Submission is not. Wand of Submission can be used on support champions, can be used on DPS champions. So you see here, I have the Wand of Submission on damage dealers, support champions, anybody that benefits from basically just being protected from, crowd control and stuff like that. A lot of times, my Empress or my Marius, if the enemy goes first, they will try to sheep or control them. So sometimes the Wand of Submission gives me a chance to, play against that. And then, of course, any champion that can go first is obviously going to benefit a lot from the speed stat. And surprisingly, the Wand of Submission, it works in PvE very well as well. So if you're, champions are getting crowd controlled, this can send it back to them. So I did decide to invest in these, make them up to 15 because I do use them on the regular basis. Now, I do have a bit of caution about making Wand of Submission 18 because I feel Wand of Submission gets used quite a bit, and then that means eventually it will get replaced quite a bit. So as soon as you pull a stronger relic, you're just going to replace that relic that you're using, which is most likely Wand of Submission. So for example, if I didn't have the Crystal of Rebirth, I would just put a Wand of Submission on Hilvi. It'd just be a very, very fine relic. But if I pulled a better relic, then that would get replaced. So to me, it feels like the Wand of Submission is a good relic to take to 15 and not fully invest all the way up to 18. You do get the additional 5% here, which gives you a total of 50% to reflect. I mean, right now it's 45%. Is it super necessary? I would say no. So probably just hold off on making these 18 somewhere down the line. I'm perfectly happy with 15s. It's totally fine. It's a little bit for the extra stats, to be honest, the accuracy stat. Like Marius, Sulfurion, and Empress kind of benefit from it. I mean, Empress not so much accuracy, but Sulfurion definitely, and Marius definitely. Now, I do have the Zeba's Servitude. So Zeba's Servitude I got from a pull. So it was a pull from the mythical mats, not from the gift that you get from collecting all of the Ninja Turtle champions. Zeba's Servitude, I mean, it kind of is the relic that you put on the Nice, right, as a champion. Because his health pool is just so massive that you can definitely really benefit from this effect. Enemies cannot land crit hits on the wearer if the wearer's HP is below 15%. And then right now it's 30% at level 12. So if you have a really high health pool, that just means you have more runway before you go down to 0, right? It's a really, really strong effect on a champion with a big health pool. To me, I don't really have a champion like that. And my UDK was just kind of like a wall tank. So for me, it kind of fits him the best. But I wouldn't say this is like the best for UDK. Again, not really a main relic for me, so I didn't commit it beyond level 12. After that, I am using 2 Magma Hearts here. 1 Magma Heart is on my Wixwell. That's for my Titus teams, Hydra teams, and stuff like that. And then the other one is on Donatello. Just testing it out here. I like the 4 gem slots. It really helps them out. My Donatello does have resistance and all that stuff, so extra resistance here is very good. The gems here gives them additional resistance as well, so that's kind of why I'm doing that. The extra shield, giving it to the turtle teams is kind of nice. Also, the extra shield that he places on himself when he loses 25% of his HP is kind of nice, just to keep him alive a little bit. So I'm kind of messing around a little bit with this Volcardiac Heart on Donnie, but I think it's decent. Generally speaking, you can put this on lots of supports, bringing in the extra shield. It's also very good against Marius, especially if the Marius has like no life drink or anything like that. They can't heal. They'll just die from the reflect damage from the magma shield, which is actually really, really interesting. It's kind of like a soft counter, but not crazy counter, but it is kind of a soft counter. And then I did pull the Murder Fang. Now, this is not a relic that you see a lot. Not a lot of people have this, I think, because it comes from the clan relic category as well. So it's in the same category as the Chrysalis of Rebirth. So you could either get Murder Fang, which is probably the worst mythical relic in the game, or you get Chrysalis of Rebirth, which is the best mythical in the game. I could see Murder Fang probably getting a rework at some point. It's just, really bad. It's just really bad. Yeah, to the point where I don't use it on anybody. And right now I don't really see myself using it or just committing any kind of resource to it right now. But I would love to hear if somebody has this and has a very strong use case for it. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. After that, I have a level 12 Temporal Stagnator. I have it on my Fabian. I think it's really, really strong. It has great opening stats here, accuracy, speed, for somebody like Fabian, obviously. Really good gem slots as well. We got the increased speed if they're under fear, for example. I got 2 of these. I'm not sure if they stack. I think they do, but I'm not 100% sure. And then we have increased accuracy for increased cooldown effects. So that's pretty nice as well. And this is generally a pretty good, I would say generally it's a pretty good relic for somebody like Fabian. Also could work for somebody like Armans, for example. But basically you have, for example, level 12, you have 35% chance to remove, steal, convert, or increase skill cooldown when landing a weak hit. So the weak hit's going to happen about 1 in 3 times. So 1 in 3 times, 1 in 3 times, something will happen. It's not a guarantee that anything will happen. That's the thing. And honestly, you don't really want this effect to ever, happen, because you just want to land the hit. You just want to land it, right? You don't want the weak hit. You don't want the weak hit to have the chance of doing this. You don't want that. But if you land the weak hit, at least this gives you a chance to do something, some kind of disruption against your enemy. So I think the Temporal Stagnator here is actually okay. A wand is also very okay on somebody like Fabian as well. Although the wand's ability here, the reflect ability, is not as needed on somebody like Fabian. So because Fabian has a passive that just removes the hard CC. But the best thing about wand is that it does protect you from Arman's sheep ability, for example. Let's move on here. So we got the Essence Quencher. This is the only one I have. I do have it at level 12 and it's on my Mad Hatter. The reason why it's on my Mad Hatter is because it has the main stat crit damage. Now, this is one of the things that we were talking about on the Relic voting, the reward calendar thing. And why I was voting for the Essence Quencher versus the Gore Crescent. Now, the Essence Quencher, like I said, has the main stat of crit damage. You get more crit damage as the front stat. Gore Crescent has the crit damage in the middle stat. So I use it on my Mad Hatter because my Titus Wixwell team requires a champion with more crit damage than Titus, so that he doesn't get targeted by the Hydra heads first with getting devoured. So it was a challenge for me to get any champion above my Titus's crit damage. And the only way I could get my a champion in the proper set above my Titus was to use relics. And I had to use this Essence Quencher to get it above because it had the higher crit damage stat. There was no other relic that I wanted to use that had enough crit damage to bring a champion over my Titus's crit damage. So it's really important, right? And I feel the Essence Quencher is just generally, just a generally better overall damage output than the Gore Crescent, especially for more people, I think. But anyways, we had that debate already. This is my only Essence Quencher. It's level 12. I need it for my Hatter, just for the crit damage boost. And, it was very relevant here. If I had a Gore Crescent instead of the Essence Quencher, I wouldn't be able to hit that crit damage threshold. Anyways, we got the Hand of Creation here for my Lydia. Accuracy and resistance, just the stat stick mainly. But this is kind of nice. This chance to prevent the removal from the Chimera is kind of nice. My Lydia is basically used in boss content most of the time. But yeah, this is really strong. Just protect her from some of the Chimera stuff. We do have a wand on my Carnage, just for speed and HP is pretty good. And also protect him from getting shut down. We have a wand here that's not being used, so that's so I'm starting to hit the limit on how many wands I can bring on my champions, right? I think I have 10 wands at level 12 or higher. I do have a wand here on Gurgo, same kind of idea. HP speed's great, and then this prevents him from getting shut down so that he can disrupt. Speed on my Lamasu, speed on my Ancora, speed on my Armans, and then I do have 2 aspects of Suros at level 12. One is for my Leonardo here. Leonardo, I think it's pretty good for this just because he's on my turtle team. It gives him a chance to kind of recover. It gives him a chance to prevent the damage. If he prevents the damage enough, he's just going to get Stone Skin. And then he might get a chance to counterattack as well if he's on the turtle team. So I think this is overall pretty okay. Defense and resistance, actually okay as well for Leonardo. And then I do have Aspect of Suros here on Rhodos. Rhodos, it's very hard to kill him with Aspect of Suros. That gives him a chance to come back with the extra turns as well. So a nice kind of budget option here for Rhodos. I don't use my Rhodos that often anymore. He's just kind of fallen off the meta a little bit, but I still love the champion. We have Taras here in a Gore Crescent. Now, this is not the best relic for Taras, but Taras is kind of, he's kind of tuned in a team right now where he kills a bunch of enemies with his AoE, and then he comes in with the big single target hit afterwards to kill off the boss. I use him in the event dungeon right now, so the Gore Crescent works pretty well. And then we have the Gore Crescent here on Raphael. Previously, I had the Essence Quencher on Raphael, and then I had to take off the Essence Quencher because I need the extra crit damage, like I explained. So I went with the Gore Crescent for Raphael. I think it's a decent relic for Raphael because he's the one that usually gets the kill. That's the thing. On my Turtles team, he usually gets the kill. So then his next hit will do a little bit more damage. And of course, he benefits both from attack and crit damage stats here. Excuse me, I mean, he gets the kill on the ally attacks. But of course, Leonardo has the big slash that will most likely wipe out some teams. But this is a decent relic for Raphael, at least from what I have available. After that, we have Ayasu here. He is in attack and crit damage from the Gore Crescent, gets the benefits here from the Gore Crescent as well. He does have extra turn mechanics, so he can take advantage of the Gore Crescent. Somebody like Georgid also would be pretty good with the Gore Crescent as well. And then after that, we have the Perch Shadows. The Perch Shadow I have here on Mikage. Mikage using the A1 is obviously very beneficial if you have Shadowkins on the same team, so she's going to be doing lots of damage. And then you get a chance at getting the extra turn from the Perch Shadow. So you have, for example, level 12, you have 16% chance of getting an extra turn if you're using the default skill and you have one of the active skills on cooldown. So you get a chance to get back the A2 and the ally attack a lot more frequently. It's really, really insane for somebody like Lady Mikage. After that, I have the Orb of Transfixion at level 12 for my Michelangelo. It's a little bit interesting of a choice here. I think most people don't actually do this, but at level 12, he has a 25% chance to steal one random buff from attacking a target. This effect cannot be resisted, occurs once per skill. So Michelangelo in a Turtles team, they attack all the time. They attack all the time, so they have the chance to steal stuff, right? I kind of like it, and it kind of gives me a way to go through somebody with unkillable once in a while. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen all the time. It's only a 25% chance, and then you're fighting against things like Lightning Cage. So it's not guaranteed, but it's a nice little extra for Michelangelo, who's not really expected to do too much on the Turtle team. But this kind of gives him like the X factor to go through some of those really, really tough kind of arena teams. After that, for level 12s, I have Niemi here with the golden elixir. I don't know, Niemi or Neve. Sometimes I say Niemi, but sometimes it's Neve. I think Neve is the proper like Irish pronunciation, but Niemi is like the proper like written pronunciation. I'm not sure. But I have golden elixir on Niemi, and I really like it because it gives her the little bit of healing boost, just to keep her above the 50% threshold so that she can land the block damage again and again and again. It's kind of nice. I'm not 100% sure whether this is the best one. I think Aspect of Suros could be a pretty good one for her as well. Obviously, the wand works as well. But Golden Elixir in general is actually just really, really strong just for PvE content as well. So for example, if you have a champion that is really hard to kill in regen versus a boss, if you give the Golden Elixir to them as well, most bosses don't hit super, super hard enough to like one-shot you guys most of the time. So if they're a light hitter, for example, like Scarab King, you can put the Golden Elixir on your champion and then just have your champion slowly kill that boss. And it works quite frequently. Like, for example, against some of the Faction Wars bosses, it works. Against some of the Doom Tower bosses, it works. But for me, I'm using it on an arena champion just because she has that passive that requires her that gives her a huge benefit from going just below 50% HP. And then this, elixir kind of counters that by pushing you back up, right? Or that's the hope. But yeah, so it's a really good, uncommon. It's a really good epic level relic. Definitely one of the best, along with Perch Shadow here. I do use the Golden Elixir on my Stultus. He's in my Hard Dragon team. He just, clears it out super, super fast. Pretty much invincible against the Dragon boss. We do have the Crown of Coronet here on my Trunda. It's just a damage boosting one. It's very good for any kind of Hydra damage champion that that can land debuffs. Any kind of debuffs. Over the entire duration of the fight against the Hydra, you're going to get a big damage boost here up to 30%. And you don't really need to build up the Coronet too high because this is just increased percentage each time you land a debuff. The stack is still at 30, so it just depends how quickly you ramp up to 30. So it's not a huge benefit to go any higher, so 12 is perfectly fine. I did go for the Arachnid Elixir here, just one of them up to level 12 for my Calvalax. It's going to give him a little bit of extra damage for his poisons, which is, obviously very necessary if you want to kill off some of these super tanky champions. And then that's about it for level 12s. The rest of them, like we have one level 12 food here. Let's kind of getting ready to go. I have a couple knives here for some of my other champions that I use in other areas. The book is a very decent one as well for turn meter boosters, for example. You don't have to go too crazy on it, but obviously increasing it does give you a little bit more boost. It's one of the best rare ones, to be honest. I was testing out the Skull of Treason a little bit. You do get a little bit of extra damage from the HP burn. So somebody like, like Artak, for example, you can get some extra damage out of him. So Sulfuron could get some extra damage out of him, for example. But I don't really use this on anybody right now. The harp's okay. I did actually play around with this a little bit, Whereas turn meter fills by 5% each time they use a skill that doesn't deal damage. So there's a couple champions that this is going to be really decent on. Mainly you want to target a champion that has the default skill and then 2 skills that don't do any damage. So for example, I had this on Lammasu. So Lammasu is just getting a flat, 9% turn meter boost every time she uses her reset and every time she uses her AoE block buff decreased speed. So 2 out of the 3 skills, she's going to get, a little bit of turn meter boost. I think that's okay. Pretty weak overall relic, but still maybe can find some use. So we do have 2 level 9 aspect of Suros. Honestly, these could be food. I use this on my, I forgot what, like Elva for PvE purposes. And then the rest, I have not really leveled up at all. You can kind of see here, I have lots of the relics. I hold on to them because they did mention that they are going to buff relics sometime in the near future. I don't know when, no idea. Like something like this, Axe of Serpentis, like this is a relic that they need to look at like immediately. This is just pure trash. The collective, pretty trash, right? Pretty trash. I think Last Laughed Amulet is useful. It's not too bad. Thunderbolt can be a good stat stick. You got the crit damage in the front. Oculus, I think this is a pretty good one. This is actually pretty good. Initially, I was not super thrilled about this, but I think this is decent. This is decent, especially on a Reviver, for example. It could be okay. If you have no better option, this could be an okay one. This one seems overall pretty bad just because it's very conditional kind of relic. This one could be okay as well in some spots, even just for the accuracy stat could be okay. And then we went over some of these other relics as well. So level 9 relics, I have a bunch on some PvE champions for the most part. Raven for like Duchess, she's on my Hydra team. Allure, there's no reason why she has this really. Maybe for stats. Warlord, stats. Mighty Uko for PvE content. A bunch of these guys are just PvE, so I just use the level 9s for the most part. And then we have a bunch of non-rolled up relics at all. You can kind of have a look here at all the ones I have. And yeah, Starstones, we have 1500. I used them all up recently just because I made my second level 18 relic. So you guys saw at the top here. So I made these guys. So I used up all my Starstones. And yeah, we'll just be chilling, stacking up the Starstones, stacking up our resources until we get another really, really nice relic that we want to use. But this is pretty much my entire collection of relics. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of walkthrough on what I use it on, what champions benefit from what, and so forth. Like I said, we've been playing this game with relics in the game for about 13 months now, and this is my overall collection. I play in a very endgame clan, so I have access to a lot of resources. But all these resources are basically gotten from in the game. I don't think my pull luck has been specifically very good. I've gotten 5, mythical relics. I probably crafted, I would say at least 30. I'm not a crazy mythical trial chimera guy. So I would probably say I've probably gotten like maybe half of what the maximum, people can do. But this is kind of, this is all I got. So we're very fortunate to get some pretty good ones. Obviously the heart's very good for Titus teams. And obviously this is just an insane one. Very, very fortunate to get, but I didn't get this from the mythical. Mats, and I actually got a heart not from a mythical mat either. So 2 of these are not actually from mythical mats. So my mythical mat luck is not the best, but you guys can get a rough idea of what you guys could expect after a year of playing this. So these are my rare legendaries. We got 50 of them. I mean, legendaries are just going to happen all the time. And I've been using some of the legendaries as food as well, but make sure you guys keep at least 1 copy of every single relic, just in case they do buff them in the future, especially the exclusive ones. You never know. And they did mention that some of the exclusive ones will come back, so maybe we'll get a chance at the Cat's Gaze eventually in the future as well. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little walkthrough on my relic collection here. Let me know in the comments below how you guys have experienced or enjoyed the relic system. Do you guys enjoy it? Do you guys think it's balanced? Do you guys think things can be improved? How can it be improved? I know the food system can be improved. I know the leveling of the relic system can be improved. Star stones can be improved, so definitely some improvements there. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Thanks for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.